Yep, it ended it. Okay, you know what it is. Unique Mecca Audio, man. I'm here. I'm with my man Chad Marks from behind the razor wire. Official brother, you know, he's gonna speak on white politics because certain things I try not to speak on, you know, because if I don't know, I'm not gonna speak on it. So anything I say that come out my mouth that could be stamped. So there's a few questions I gotta ask him, and I know y'all got some questions. So make sure you put them in the comment. And make sure you check out his YouTube channel. He gonna let you know what that is when he come up. You know, I don't want to mess it up because you know more time in Jamaican accents kick in and them things there, my memory not so good. Boom. So now let me bring my brother up here, Chad Marks, so y'all can see the big bro up here. All right. Oh no, I know y'all clapping. All right. Go ahead, Chad. Tell them who you are and about your case.
Damn. All right. My name's Chad Marks, man. I'm from Rochester, New York. I got a YouTube channel, Blood on the Razor Wire TV. I ended up going to prison when I was 24, sentenced to a 40-year federal mandatory minimum. Went to trial, blue trial on a crack conspiracy case. While I was in prison, I became a jailhouse lawyer, one of the best in the system. And that's kind of a little bit about my story, man.
All right, that's what it is. So I'm gonna punch off the screen so that you get Chad's full attention because we're gonna ask some real questions here. Now, Chad, where's some of the places that you have been? Some of the prisons so that they know?
One of the first prisons I went to was probably the most dangerous at the time. It was USP Big Sandy. It was definitely a prison that was off the hook, off the chain. You know, eventually the books behind me, I had wrote a book about Big Sandy. It's, you know, got a lot of violence in there or whatever. But that's the life that we live. That's what it was, man. So I've been in Big Sandy. I've been in USP Pollock. I've been in USP Lee, was in Virginia. Ended up making it to an FCI like almost 15 years later. Ended up leaving the FCI, went to a low, and I got out on compassionate release.
Okay. All right. So who did you run with when you was in there? Because I've been teaching, you know, my subscribers about cars, you know. So what car did you run with, if any, and how did that play out?
So as soon as I get to Big Sandy, right, it's my first federal prison. I've been to New York State Prison, been to Comstock, been to Attica, been to a bunch of places in the state. It was totally different, man. We get to the feds, and immediately the white dudes press me as soon as I walk in the unit. They're like, "Hey, man, where you from?" And I'm like, "Man, I'm from New York." They're like, "Hold on, man. We got some guys for you to meet, whatever." Dudes start talking to me like, "Well, who you going to run with, man? You going to run with the blacks? You going to run with the whites?" And keeping it real, man, everything there is pretty much racially segregated at the time. So I'm like, "Man, I'm running with the whites." So I'm in the white car immediately. But the New York and Boston dudes got a car. So that car is the car that kind of like accepts me right away. They're like, "Yo, you got to get your paperwork. This is what it is. This is how it works." And, you know, that was just kind of how that system went.
Paperwork, explain that. What do you mean by your paperwork, getting your paperwork? Let the people know why you have to get your paperwork, how long you have to get it, and what happened if you don't get it or you get it and it's not proper.
So the white car, what they do is they give you 30 days to get your paperwork, right? Usually they want your sentencing transcripts, they want your judgment and commitment, they want your docket sheet, so they can look at it, see, man, if you're a child molester, if you cooperated, if you testified on people. Most of that shit will always be on one of those documents. Definitely in the sentencing transcript, definitely on that docket sheet. So, you know, that's what they require. They want to make sure you're good. Once you're good, they give you a knife immediately. They're like, "Here, man, here it is." And usually, man, you got to have a knife at Big Sandy immediately, man. But they make you wait.
Mm-hmm.
Your homeboys will hold you down, whatever. And we had a big homie there from, you know, we had a bunch of dudes there. Like, I think you had Homicide Lou on here before. I was in the unit with Lou and a kid named Vic, man. Vic's got like 87 years. So Lou had the New York car, but, you know, Lou liked me, man. I got pictures with Lou and all that. Lou liked me a lot, man. And he was like, "Yo, look, man." And I kind of just took that white, you know, I went that way. That's the way that I went. But them dudes messed with me real tough. And eventually I was kind of like on the fence where I'm like, "Damn, man, maybe I might have made a mistake with some of the decisions that I made, man." Big Sandy was a dangerous place. I'm going to keep it 100 with you, man. The white dudes were the dudes that were really putting in that work. When I say putting in that work, man, they were stabbing people over there. They're killing people over there. And usually, man, it was, you know, and I hate to say it like this, but against their own people. Eventually, my cellie, he was from the Bronx, kid named Adam Oliveri. He was like the big homie. He ended up stabbing the cop over there in Big Sandy. The cop took some wine from him. He's like, "Man, I'm stabbing this dude." And I'm like, "Nah, for real?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm about to stab him." And I'm thinking, damn, I've been in New York State Prison. I've been in Comstock. I've been in Attica. You know, I've been in some places where if you do something to the police, they're going to be hitting you with them sticks. He's like, man, I'm stabbing the cop. And I'm like, all right. So he went down there and stabbed the cop, man, and shit was just totally off the hook.
Okay, you mentioned my big homie. Now, you know, Homicide Lou Sims. Spent Christmas and Thanksgiving with him this year. Tell us something about having. Give me a Homicide Lou story. How did you meet him? How did he run the car? How did he move? Just tell us about Homicide Lou, because that's good coming from a white perspective, so they understand. I don't want them to think that I'm bigging up my homies because they from Harlem. So you tell them what type of man Lou is and how you see Lou.
Lou had the whip, man. When I went there, man, like I said, I kicked it with this kid, Vic, man, Puerto Rican kid. And over there, they had a New York car, but they had Puerto Rican dudes in the New York car, black dudes. And Vic was kind of like the dude that took care of the couple white dudes that were in the car and the Puerto Ricans. And Vic and Lou were real close. Vic was a serious dude. Lou was a serious dude. And the type of dude that he was, man, I mean, he was a leader, man. Make no mistakes about it. I think he made good decisions. He was a get money type of dude. I mean, if there was opportunities, of course, he was going to take them. And eventually, you want a Homicide Lou story, you know, he walked with that little bit of limp. Well, there was another Puerto Rican dude over there from New York, and they were close at one time. They start beefing. There's a little beef going on. And Homicide Lou's like, yo, I'm about to go down here in this unit. And I rock with Vic real tough. Even though I'm in the white car, I kick it with Vic. Vic's like, yo, come with me, man. We're about to go over here to A2. So we go to A2, man, and the Puerto Rican kid and Lou, they go in the cell and they start working, man. They're in there, they're fighting. They're in there fighting. And they both came out like men, man, shook hands and hugged, and that was it. And usually you don't see that in the penitentiary. Usually it's mostly knife play. But Lou went in there, man. He was working. He was a good dude, man. Real good dude.
You know, yeah, Lou's the best, man. Lou's the best. That's why they choose him to run the car wherever we go. And I always want to give him his flowers, and I like to have people up here to speak on him, because when I speak on certain people, they know what I say is gold, but that's my brother. You know what I mean? So I want them to think that I'm giving my brother flowers that he don't deserve, and you know he deserves the whole bouquet and the whole flower patch, you know?
Let me tell you this, right? Like, Lou liked me a lot, right? We got along and shit. We talked all the time. And I ended up getting in an incident over there, man, where the white dudes had jumped me, right? They jumped me because after my celly went to the hole for stabbing the cop and all of that shit was out of control. We had no leadership. We had a kid named Ace. Eventually, Ace, he was from Ohio. Eventually, he ends up getting shot from the tower. They hit him with an AR-15 in the back. They blow his guts out. But after everybody left, Ace wanted to be the shot caller. He wanted to take over. Had a couple dudes that looked up to me and shit like that. But anyway, long story short, these dudes end up jumping me because I'm like, yo, bro, you don't tell me what to do. And it was really over me talking to the New York dudes. And he's like, yo, we don't really know where you stand. Are you in the New York car? You running with the whites? You're always with the blacks. And it just kind of got like, you know, a little sidetrack. Kid hits me in the mouth. Boom, he catches me in the mouth. We start working. And there's people that I've interviewed on my channel talk about this shit. Honestly, I'm out there whooping these dudes, Unique. I'm fighting for my life for real. But anyway, long story short, I go to the hole. So Lou and Vic and all them, they're advocating trying to get me out of the hole. They take me in a room with this kid Ace, and they're like, yo, look, man, you know, you two got to talk. I'm like, man, I'm not, what is this? We're having a sit down. I'm not talking to this dude with the SIS guy here. I'm not doing that. They got us handcuffed behind our backs. And this dude, he's like, yo, don't start chicken fighting in here. And the kid Ace tries to headbutt me. So that was the end of that. But that's because Lou and them wanted to get me out. And I told him, look, bro, I'm from New York. So when I get out of the hole, we're going to get a fair one. I'm going to beat the fuck out of you, man, because you sucker punched me. But I don't get out of the hole because he pulls a move. And he knew that the New York dudes were going to hold me down. And if I would have got out at that time, New York dudes, it's different, man, when you're white and you're from New York. A lot of people don't understand that. Even the New York dudes, that like with the Italian dudes, the New York dudes looked out for them dudes, whether they were in the New York car, in the white car, whatever the case was. So, you know, they were looking out for me, man, and they knew that I would have got a fair one. And it probably, I'm not the baddest man on the planet, but I'm all right with my hands. So I definitely wanted to crush dude for punching me in the face for no reason.
Some of the New York Italians that you remember the names that you was with, that was over there, that you ran across.
Oh, I was over there with Lou. Little Will was over there back then. A couple kids from Connecticut. I ended up in USP Lee too with Preem ended up coming over there. There was a kid, Ja. I got pictures with Ja. I mean, Knowledge caught his case out of Virginia, got life. Him and his son, he's got life. He was from New York. Guy Fisher. I wasn't with Guy Fisher in Big Sandy, but I was with Guy Fisher later on at Raybrook. Bunch of the homies over there, Lex, the kid AD, Aldo Mitchell. So those are a bunch of New York dudes I've been around, man.
What about Italians? Tell them some of the Italians that you remember.
Oh man, I've been around a lot of the Italian dudes. Eventually I ran into Steve Caracappa. You know, some people might not know who he is, but
yeah, I was with him too. Yeah.
He was killing people for the mob, and he was the homicide investigator for the mob, but he was the dude killing people. Him and his co-defendant was in a unit with Guy Fisher. As far as Italian dudes, mob dudes, man, I was with Whitey Bulger. I was in the hole with Whitey Bulger when he went to Tucson, right? I was in the hole over there for like a year. You can't walk that yard. A lot of people can't go out there. So I'm over there waiting for a transit, but he ended up going on the yard there, got stabbed. I would talk to Whitey Bulger every day through the cell. He was on house alone, rec alone, same as me. Mafia guys. Been around a lot of them dudes, man. Alley Boy was in Big Sandy with us. He rode with the New York car. Homicide Lou and all them. They looked out for Alley Boy. Persico.
Yeah, I was with Whitey Bulger too. I was on the compound with Whitey when, you know, the Spanish dudes and white dudes, a few of them that was there was catering to him, pushing him around the wheelchair. And I did a show on him about a week or so. He was at my 100th episode. If y'all get a chance, check out the 100th episode with Whitey Bulger. I was there with him, and you know, it's funny. But anyway, we're gonna get back into this. I want to talk to you about, so that the young, you know, white kids that's watching this understand, how does the politics work with the white people in the Federal Bureau of Prison?
I can tell you like this. When I went to Big Sandy, right, like I said, things were racially segregated back then. All the dudes had just left Beaumont. They transferred all them dudes over to Big Sandy. So when I got there, it was right around that same time, and they had like a white mop bucket, white broom, black mop bucket, black broom. I mean, that's how crazy it was. And as far as white politics go, I mean, if you're fucked up and you do something messed up, man, the white dudes are definitely going to get at you. Like, they're not going to just be like, in Big Sandy, it wasn't where you could be like, hey, look, man, you got to go up top. I mean, I've seen that shit done in FCIs and all of that. But when you're in the penitentiary and they tell you, hey, look, man, you got to do this, you got to do that, that's what it is. They might tell you got to go on a mission. And you're like, damn, man, I got my appeal in. They're like, look, man, if you don't go on a mission, and what I mean by mission is you might have to go stab this dude. This dude might have done something, man. He might have violated. He might be hot. He might be a chomo. And believe me, there's chomos that try to walk the yard. We had a dude that came there that was a cop. He was a chief of police, I think, in Louisiana. One of the homies from Boston ended up kicking him in the head. They mercy flighted him out. But if they pick you and your number plays, you got to go. If you don't go, you're going to become the mission. And what I mean is they're going to do something bad to you, man. You're going to leave there. You're going to leave there not in a very kind way. And unfortunately, man, a lot of times it's, you know, dudes doing shit to their own people. I've seen dudes make up shit. They're like, yo, man, I don't really like this dude. So they they push the envelope. Yo, he did this. He was disrespectful. And next thing you know, your ass is out of there, man.
Okay, because like the white guys, especially when you go out west, like I went in Victorville, Atwater. You ever been out west yet? Did you make it out west, or you stayed on the East Coast?
I stayed mostly in the Midwest. I went to Tucson, but that was right when it was still a good yard. Then they started changing it. They made one unit like for child molesters, put us all on the other side, blocked the yards off. And shortly after that, I ended up going to the hole for a K2 investigation. They were saying that I was the dude that was bringing in the deuce, like when it first started over there. I'm not saying that that's true. I'm telling you, that's what they said. So I ended up in the hole over there, and it didn't really matter because now they started turning the place into a child molester prison anyway. So I ended up getting transferred out of there. And my points had went down. They never wrote me up, never had nothing on me, just allegations. They made me sit in the hole for like a year. And I ended up going to an FCI. I went to FCI Raybrook. Finally got close to home.
Okay, see, because I mentioned West Coast, Atwater, and Victorville because I'm not even going to lie, man. You know, I think that the white dudes do overkill. You know what I mean? I think they overkill. I mean, a black dude do something there, like you said, they'll tell him, you know, he got to go up top. And then if he don't go up top, then of course he gets stabbed up. But the white guys, they don't give them a chance to just go up top. I mean, they call them out there, rock them to sleep. And I'm talking about they butcher them and maul them right there in the yard, you know, and shut the whole yard down. It's like they make an example. And, you know, for penitentiary reasons, so you understand, a lot of people watch this, Chad, and they watch me. You know, I talk and I keep it 100. So I use the slangs and things that go on. So I might be like, you know, this dude had 30 murders, and I'd be like, well, he was a good dude. And how can he be a good dude with 30 murders? No, we're in a prison. You understand? We're not in society. In the prison, he's a good dude. you know what I mean, under prison, you know what I mean, politics and the crap that go on in there. You know what I mean? Out here in society, you might call him a scumbag. But in there, you know, he carry himself like a gentleman. If something happened with the car, he's rolling with the car, he holding you down, and he's not being disrespectful. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to, and I think they're learning. I'm trying to teach my subscribers to really understand that they can't sit there and try and mix the two worlds together, you know, as far as the street world and the prison world, because it's two different worlds. I mean, we're in a sewer where anything goes, you know. How do you feel about that as far as, you know, prison, breaking it down? You know, it's just crazy that people, well, I guess it's not crazy because they haven't been in prison to understand the things we have to go through and do to survive. How would you tell the people watching this that hasn't been to prison, that gets the line blurred between, you know, when I say such and such is a good dude and, you know, he got 19 murders, you know?
I mean, I would say it pretty much how you said it, right? In a civilized society, someone that kills 4 or 5 people, people be like, man, that dude's not a good dude. But everything that you know about the dude, you know, in prison, you're like, man, dude's a good dude, man. Like, you know, he's like you said, he's respectful. You might not even know what his case is, and then you find out, you're like, damn, man, dude killed 10 people. Are you serious? So, I mean, it's a different. I mean, it's a different scale. You know what I'm saying? You're in prison, so you're like, you know, you judge the dude on how he operates, how he lives, and you know, is he a good dude to society? Probably not. Is he a good dude in prison? Yeah, but what makes him a good dude? I know he's going to hold me down. I know he never lies. I know if he owes me some money, he's going to pay me. I mean, if someone disrespects him, he's going to handle his business. And that's how, you know, people judge good dudes in prison.
That was excellent. See, that's why I'm glad I brought you on here today. Got to give a round of applause for that answer, because I've been trying to let the people understand that, because, you know, I get a couple of people in the comments, but they know me. So anybody that don't know me that's just tuning in, I play no tolerance for bull crap. The trolling and all that, I just block you instantly. So if you put a stupid comment, I'm gonna block you. If you got an issue with something that I'm saying, DM me and we'll talk about it as men over here in the corner. And then if you like, we could come on the show and then we could bring it to the people. But I'm not gonna be a keyboard gangster, you know what I mean? Arguing with somebody in the thing or try to, you know, argue a point. Like dude said, anybody would tell this and that. How do you argue with somebody talking about anybody would tell? You know what I mean? Come on, dog. I sat in the jail for 26 years, didn't tell, with a life sentence plus 20 years, knowing I wasn't getting out. You sat in jail for a number of years, knowing you would never get out. And I'm sure it never crossed your mind to tell.
For sure. I mean, you can look at dudes like right now, keeping it 100, like the kid Young Thug. It's sad, man. The kid's going to trial. You know, people can say what they want to say. I mean, obviously, as people took plea agreements, I mean, you notice I was one of the best jailhouse lawyers in the federal prison system, right? And this kid, I mean, it's a state case, but this dude's facing pretty much the rest of his life. I mean, he's not telling, he's going to trial. And I'm hopeful that his lawyers can work out something reasonable without him telling. So, you know, he can end up with 10 years or 15 years and walk out of there and still have a life. And when you're young, man, you can't see that. You can't see like, damn, I'm going to get out when I'm 40. Hell no, I ain't doing that. I'm trying to get back in the street. But you don't realize by pushing these people to the limit, you're about to get life and you ain't never going to get out of prison. And if you do, you're going to be 60, 70 years old. And we don't think about that when we're young. So Young Thug, man, I mean, that's something that, you know, that's just an example, something that he should be thinking about. And it's an example of a dude doing what, you know, some people do. They go all the way. They go to the box.
Yeah, because, you know, they punish you just for going to trial. You know what I mean? Just for going to trial, they're going to throw the book at you. But if you plead guilty, then, you know, when I went to trial, they still threw the book at you. So I didn't even want to talk to no prosecutor, nobody, because none of them had no word of honor. So I just told them, let's just, you know, get the jury strapped up and let's do what we got to do. Now, what are some of the wildest? Let me ask you this, though, because like out west, right? Because you've been in different places than I've been in, because we didn't run across each other. But we was in Coleman together. Out west, the white guys is not allowed to eat from a black person. A black guy is not allowed to go in a white TV room, you know, when they have TV rooms. Explain that to the people in detail so they understand how the racistness go, and the administration support this. So explain all that to them, how you see it from your eyes to my people.
I mean, there's rules in place where, they'll tell you like, yo, we do this to avoid problems, right? I mean, there was once upon a time where white dudes couldn't play basketball with black dudes, or you couldn't do, sports or whatever, man. Not eating with this dude or not doing business with blacks. And, you see a lot of that with the Serranos where they're not allowed to do business with blacks. I just hear about the West Coast, but, they always try to tell you like, look, this is to avoid problems or this and that. And I've been in prisons where black dudes don't want to fuck with white dudes. You know what I mean? There's like, and I met a lot of, black dudes from the South where they're just kind of like, I'm good, man, based on, history and what has happened in the past. They're like, man, I'd rather just stay away from this dude. So, I mean, the prison politics, I mean, everybody has a reason. Do I agree with the reasons? No, not always. I mean, I have plenty of friends, man. Like I said, one of my right-hand man, he's Puerto Rican, Victor Lorenzano, doing 90 years out of New York. I mean, I'm trying to help this kid. I'm doing all his legal work. I wrote a letter to Tony Lewis today from Washington, D.C. I told him, hey, man, I want to help you with your compassionate release. I know he had Brittany Barnett working for him, and I wrote her a message. Haven't heard from her yet, whether or not she's still helping him. But, I mean, listen, man, when I ended up making it to an FCI, the politics changed. So things were different. But, I mean, they got rules in place for whatever reasons they got. But is it racially segregated? Yeah, it's like some shit you see on the movies sometimes. Is it changing? It's changing to a certain extent. And you got dudes that are like, and you talk about politics, this is one thing that I didn't understand. You might have dudes be like, yo, you can't do this. You can't eat with this guy. You can't, there was a rule where you couldn't in Big Sandy. White dudes couldn't tattoo on black dudes, right? And white dudes like, damn, man, but that's how I make my money, man. Like, you guys are implementing these rules. And then these same dudes that are implementing these rules will be buying dope from black dudes. So how are you going to say one thing and do another? You know what I'm saying?
Okay, tell them about the dope in the prison. How important is the dope in the prison, and how does that work as far as, it being the drug of choice, and the corruption it caused, even in the prison?
My perspective on the drug of choice might be different than yours. But, I was sitting in prison and I watched, something take place. Back in the day, it was the dope, right? Dudes want to get high. They get high, takes them out of the place. I've been around with New York dudes. I was with Puerto Rican dude Macho. Them dudes were all in there getting money, getting big money. I seen dudes pay lawyers selling dope, but the dope game changed in federal prison. It's no longer, heroin's not the top-notch choice no more. It's Suboxone and K2. That K2, I see that shit change the prison system, brother. I see people coming in there sneak thieving, dudes you would never expect, man, selling their soap, selling their deodorant, selling their Christmas tray, selling their Thanksgiving tray so they could get high on dudes. These dudes get high, they start doing all this old wild, crazy shit, running through the hallway, screaming, swinging on people. I mean, that was the new crack, epidemic in federal prison. That was K2, man, the deuce. Some people say they're smoking bug spray, but I've seen things change, man. I've seen people stabbed over this shit. People sending in sheets. They're making $10,000, $15,000 off a sheet of paper that they're paying $2,000 for. They're shipping it in. They get them little pieces. I've seen pieces the size of an eyelash. That's small. Blast people. They're like frozen. I mean, it's outrageous, man, but there's big money to be made. And people in prison, they're not in there for being nice guys. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, when I was in Coleman, that's why I wanted you to lead up to that. Because like you said, back in the day, it was heroin. And then the Suboxone came out. You can get 100 strips of Suboxone that be this big, the size of your pinky. This is 100 strips of Suboxone, and each one go for, is that $10,000 for one balloon this big? You know what I mean? That's how crazy it is. But I was in Coleman, and I seen a young black dude from Florida, smoke that deuce, and he got butt naked and started rolling around in the dirt. You know how you make a snow angel? He's out there butt naked. It's 100 degrees, and he's rolling around in the hot dirt, butt naked, humping the ground in front of the whole compound with no clothes on, off that deuce. That's what they call the K2, that deuce. That became the drug of choice for these last 2 generations, But before that, it was strictly heroin. I mean, if you got cocaine in the jail, you damn near couldn't sell it. But you get the heroin, it goes a mile a minute. And like you said, the K2 is easy to come in because they just take, a sheet. I like to give my props, They just take a sheet of paper. They take a whole sheet of paper and they spray it down and turn to liquid. You know what I mean? And then they hang it up and they let it dry. When it's dry, it got the whatever chemical they sprayed in it. And they literally, like he said, sell a little chip that you get. This right here would be about $50. $50 to $100 in K2 if you went to buy it from somebody. So imagine how much of this you're going to get out of a whole sheet of paper. and you're getting $50 for each one of those. But they sell them for little like I said, they sell them for $5, $10, and it'd be the size of your eyelashes. They'll take that same little piece that I just showed you. They'll take this same little piece here, and they'll make, 10 papers out of this, 15 papers. So they get this $50, $75. So if you're trying to make some money, you go to somebody selling K2 and they cut your little strip. Remember when they used to weigh it out to show you how creative the mind is in prison? The K2, when they put it on this paper, right? I don't have one with me, man, I wish I had one. When they put it on this paper, you're supposed to be able to take your ID card. You know what I mean? You're supposed to be able to take your ID card and put it on the paper, and you cut out the size of an ID card, like your driver's license. You cut out the size of your driver's license, and that went for like $1,000. You know what I mean? $2,000 for a piece of paper. That's how the drugs is. And like you said, you buy houses, pay for lawyers and all that from dealing with drugs in a prison. That's why I tell the youth, it ain't worth it. Don't go to prison, because you're not going to escape none of this madness. You're just going to be confined to all this madness. What's some of the wildest things you've seen while you was in prison?
Some of the wildest things I seen, man. I seen a kid in Lee County, USP Lee. They send the dude up top. He's a blood from California. Like, yo, homie, you got to go up top. Whatever their reasons are, they send him up top. The police come by and say, hey, man, you got to go back to the yard, man. Dude, you've been down here 30 days. SIS said you're not in danger. You got to go. So the kid makes a knife. He comes out. He's like, yo, man, I'm going out here. His kid's name was Larador. He goes out there. The homies are like, yo, man, you got to go back up top. We tell you can't be out here on the yard. Dude pulls out the knife, hits the dude in the chest. Dude had like 87 days left to go home, 90 days, whatever. Hits him in the chest. Dude jumps back, puts his hands up. He's like, man, you bitch ass nigga, you just stabbed me. And he's ready to work. And you just see him die, man. You see the life come out of him. That was something wild that I seen. I seen another thing in Lee County where the Norteños had hit a bulldog. Dude was out there on the yard. It was October 31st, 2009. They tell him, come out on the yard. They're beefing over a cell, whatever. He goes out there on the yard on the early move. I'm out there walking around. Man, they must have stabbed his kid 50 times, man. Hit him in the face, hit him in the eye. And he's walking. He's like, yo, man, help me. I'm like, man, I can't. He lived in the cell next to me. I said, man, I can't help you. I said, keep walking, man. Keep walking to the shack, man. Try to make it to medical. He's full of blood, man. They end up taking him to medical. The tower never sees it. These dudes are organized, man. I give them their props. They're organized. They got dudes jogging around the track. After they stab the dude, they throw the knives to the dudes. They catch the knives in air in stride, and they get rid of the knives. Captain comes out there. The warden comes out there screaming, who the fuck is in the tower? I want to know who's in the tower. Because the tower didn't see the dude getting stabbed. They come in, they shut the prison down, they take all the Norteños off the yard. Those are two wild-ass things that I seen, man.
That's what I'm talking about. So if you youngins want to go to jail, picture that. Somebody stab you, and you walk up to a man and you say, help me, and he tell you to walk to the medical because I can't help you. Because if he got involved, then they're going to stab him. So this is what you want to be a part of. Be my guest. But I'm telling you don't do it, and I'm telling you it wasn't worth it, and my man Chad telling you it wasn't worth it. We just wanted to tap in so that y'all can understand what's going on, man. I definitely want to bring him back. I don't want to make it too long, Chad. I want to just give him something so they know who you are. Make sure you check out his channel. I've been giving him shout-outs on my channel all the time, and to show you how much of a good man he is, I send him my videos that y'all be liking over on my channel. I sent it to his channel. He put it up in his community room. He sent me his videos I put up in my community room. So, anybody want to work with us, Chad, me, we both work in the same way because we already know they watch Unique talk that old hood trap. And then they come and they listen to Chad talk that, putting it together in a documentary form. He do the best documentaries. You want to know about Larry Hoover, Rayful Edmonds, you know what I mean? I mean, their actual case, not just a nigga rambling like I be rambling, but you want to get in there. Everybody stay in their lane. You know what I mean? I like his lane. I tell him all the time, stick to that lane. But go check out the Rayful Edmonds story he got. Go check out the what's the other one? Larry Hoover, tell him some of the story, the documentary types that you have done.
I mean, I take federal cases. Like I said, man, I was a jailhouse lawyer. I own a paralegal and prison consultant firm. So on my YouTube channel, Blood on the Razor Wire TV, man, I take, big time drug dealers, man. Probably going to do one on Big Meech. And I go into the court paperwork, and that's how I break them down. I put documentaries together, Larry Hoover, like you said, Rayful Edmonds. I just did one on Tony Lewis, who was Rayful Edmonds' right-hand man. They say he was his partner. A lot of people don't know who Tony Lewis is. The man went to prison when he was 26, 27. He's 60 years old. I'm dropping that episode tomorrow. So that'll be out. We do good things over there. I've interviewed Troy Kell. Some of your subscribers might know who he was. That's really what put this whole prison genre on back on HBO in 2001. He was the white dude that killed the black dude, stabbed him like 70 times. I interviewed him. I interviewed the judge, the former federal judge that went to the White House with Kim Kardashian. I interviewed the dude that they were at the White House talking about on my channel, trying to get him out, Chris Young. He got out of prison on compassionate release. I interviewed him. I interviewed some former agents, former cops. I interviewed a black DEA agent, like that's active, and he gives a message to the kids. I mean, we do some big things over there. So come check us out. You might like what we do. If not, it's all good. Got that book over there, Blood on the Razor Wire TV. I did my audio book myself. It's a very.
I listened to that last night. Man, that was good. That was excellent.
Definitely,
because normally audio books put you to sleep, but your joint was interesting. I think you got the narration voice, so I give you a 10 all day on the narration when you do the documentaries, and from hearing the audio book, I think you're doing a super job over there. And I want my subscribers to go check him out. He's worth checking out. You know what I mean? He's a stand-up man. I don't care. You know what I mean? If, as you say in prison, if he's white or if he's black. You know what I mean? As long as he's on man time and he ain't tell on nobody and he did his time as a man, you know what I mean? And didn't mess with no boys and all of that and kept it 100. That's all it take to be on man time when you're in the prison and, to deal with me. Anything other than that, I don't badmouth nobody. Whatever you choose to do is on you, but you keep that over there and I stay here on my man time. You know what I mean? So it's not to disrespect anybody. Because if you could sleep good at the end of the night, when you rest your head on the pillow, that's all that matter. What Unique think don't matter. Just like what you think of me don't matter, But, you want to tell them something else real quick, Chad? We've been on here a little 40 minutes. I don't want to make it too long because I don't want that code come back. But I definitely want to come back where I want to write down some things that I want to ask you about more with the white politics and things like that. But I just wanted to introduce my audience to you. My man got almost 100,000 subscribers. He trying to hit that 100,000. So y'all going over there and hit my man's subscriber button. You know what I mean? And when you go over there, let them know you came from Unique Mecca Audio, so they know that we working this together as a team. Because this how family do. We all in the YouTube family together, and we trying to give y'all information on what went on in the prison to prevent y'all from going to prison, to let you know it's not worth it. Am I saying anything wrong or different that you would like to add on?
Man, it's all good. I appreciate you bringing me on. Like I said, man, check us out, Blood on the Razor Wire TV. You might like what we do. Appreciate you, Unique, man. Appreciate what you do. And, for your subscribers, just so they know, everybody knows who you are in the system. Well-respected dude. I appreciate you.
Exactly. Now, cop the book of Rowan Harlem. Cop his book. You ain't got a physical copy of your book? Show him there you go. Cop my man's book, Blood on the Razor Wire. You know what I mean? And cop a reporters. You know what I mean? We giving y'all good content. We're educating y'all. We're motivating y'all. You know what I mean? We just ask for a little support. You know what I mean? So make sure you hit the like button. At least put an emoji up, in the comment. And if you have nothing to say, just put an emoji to show that you're there. That helps with everything. And, we all got our cash apps. Mine's Unique. You know where it's at. You'll find it on one of the other videos because that's not what this is about right now. But just letting you know, you have to support us, man. We here because we support you and we giving you what you need. You know what I mean? So, and we got the merch. What you think about the shirt? Read the shirt.
You have the right to, shut the fuck up in the middle. I don't see the bottom, though. To remain silent. Shut the fuck. That's a good shirt, man. That's what's up.
That's the Fifth Amendment. Tell them what the Fifth Amendment is so they understand that that's all this is, the Fifth Amendment. It's not promoting, don't snitch or none of that. It's just letting you know that the first thing that Tatum Miranda is you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. Am I correct?
100% correct, brother.
And that's all we pushing, man.
You got to stay.
All right. So I'm going to tap out. You know what I mean? I really appreciated him. So thank you for giving him a round of applause. I think he's the best documentary maker. He just don't know it yet. That's his lane. So I'm going to have him do a documentary on my joint, on my that I'm going to bring to the movie people that I'm dealing with my movie so I can bring him along because I think he's excellent And, you know, we're going to get him a budget to do all these stories that he's doing if he can, you know what I mean, get his people to move fast enough. I'm here to help him like I know he's there to help me, because that's how we do. That's how us old timers from the 80s and 90s do. You know, we're not trying to compete with each other. We're not in none of that. And if anybody want to get on my show, contact me. Want to get on his show, contact him. We're not on no bull crap. And, you know, for that, I just want to tap out. So you good, family?
Good, man. I appreciate you.
All right. So don't go no way. Let me bring you down and talk to the people for a second. All right. So that was my man, Chad, man. Like I said, I've watched the documentaries that he did. Like I said, I don't agree with none of that crap Rayford Edmonds did. Let's say that. But he did a very good documentary breaking down his case, the way he breaks it down, because he goes from the court documents so you can see exactly, you know what I mean, what went on from the court perspective. You know what I mean? But then over on my channel now, I bring the people on so that they can tell you their perspective and how it went to fill in the blanks for what the government might have tweaked or whatever to try and get their conviction. But he's the best that ever done it with those documentaries. Definitely go check him out. Get him to that 100,000 subscriber, because I'm right behind him trying to get where I got to go. And you see, he got 100, I got a little 38. I'm trying to help him because he's always trying to help me. And that's how good men do. So let me bring him up so you see us here together. You know what I mean? And we tap out. All right? You good, family? All right.